Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another great day for speedrunning. It's time for A Link to the Past Randomizer League. This is Week 5 Mystery, Game 2 between the Triple Dino Disasters and Major Mistakes. Our runners, Schulzer and Catobat, are looking to get ready to go. As we see on the start screen, we ain't getting those starting items today, and we may have an enemizer of some sort. I am your commentator, Esper Hub, and along with me, my co-commentator, James FNX. Did I pronounce that correctly?
You did. Yeah, we got a mystery seed getting ready to close out mystery week here. Looks like our runners are going to have, like you said, we have some sort of enemizer as we can see from the start screen here. They're also starting with a sword, which is a nice little bonus. We'll find a lot more as we kick in here in just a couple seconds. But this is race number 2 of the week for these two teams. Triple Dino Disaster won their earlier race this week, Yoshi beating Tito. So Major Mistakes going to try and pick up their second victory of the season here. We have a standard start.
Right, there's a reason why we getting the sword here. It's standard start today. And from the looks of the status screen, we see that arrows have a number to them, so there won't be no retro bows today. Thank goodness for that. So, basing just from this, we're going to assume that they could still be in hard mode item pool. But as we see some very funny looking guys as guards today, I would like to assume that the enemizer has shuffled our enemy placement in the overworld and as well as our dungeons.
Yeah, we'll find out here in just a second. That starting sword is a good sign for full enemizer, and yes, we do have a Moblin and a Tektite in here. Not our usual cast of characters. Nothing too consequential in these first two chests. A heart container is nice as Catobat's getting bullied a bit by this Tektite.
Just gonna smash that over with a pot there and just call it the day. As both of our runners are going to go through the beginning part of the escape sequence, which is usually going into Hyrule Castle, rescuing Zelda, then going back into the sewers, into the Sanctuary.
Yeah, funny thing, that rain state, you can't actually randomize the enemies there, so it just kind of garbles up all the graphics for you. But as you go further into Hyrule Castle, we're going to see these random enemies all over the place.
Hopefully they won't be too mean. Last enemizer that I have commed for had some very angry enemies, and it was an inverted seed, no less, so it was even worse.
No small key shuffle here to get a small key without fanfare. It could still be retro keys, though. We don't know that yet.
Retro keys can be a thing. That's one thing about the randomizer, the mystery seed waits for this week, is that it's not exclusively retro mode, but there is some aspects of retro that it can appear in a seed.
And this is a real rude room here with a Gibdo. It's going to take 8 spins to take down. Schulzer doing a really good job of getting double spins by pinning the Gibdo to the wall.
Looks like Cobra got a few good swings as well with a double spin on that one. And they two are just sort of like, going shoulder by shoulder for the time being. A little bit back and forth here and there. But
yeah, Catobat a little bit safer. Has 4 full hearts, whereas Schulzer is one brush away from death.
Hopefully he will not end up kicking the bucket on this one. But thankfully enough, the pots should have some hearts. Just as long as he evades this mini helm sword. That's very anxious to speak to him for some reason. As we get a mini mort for our big key holder.
Yeah, enemizer give a thing there, and there's a moon pearl in our basement.
Yeah, moon pearl is going to be pretty good. Oh, you got to get the big key first, Catobat. There you go. But yeah, moon pearl at the very early will open up at least one theme in particular. If our runners are inclined to do so, they can go ahead and fake flipper into Zora into Waterfall and use the moon pearl from there in order to get to the chest to there. pretty good item to have very early to logic break, just in case you don't get any good progression whatsoever in Kakariko Village or even in the sewers.
Yeah, we may still. We're not going to be an entrance randomizer because of having these retro setting or having the potential for retro keys. I guess we could still have an entrance randomizer in so far, but it's not all that likely. As both our runners are now bringing Zelda back to the back of the sewers. These are some of the most dangerous rooms in Enemizer. These next couple rooms here, you have a ton of enemies in a very small space.
Schulzer is going through the first part of the sewers as Catobat is not too far behind. It's going to do the same thing.
Schulzer doing a nice job of remembering there's a heart in that pot as those bombers.
Good lord, the sewers. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
2 Lionels, 2 Hinoxes.
Welcome to Enemizer. Enjoy your stay.
Does make it through, though. Well done. Meanwhile, Catobat takes a death. Did get past the next checkpoint, so won't have too far to go to get to the next location.
Oh dear.
In standard, there are certain places where the game will checkpoint you in terms of progress if you die inside the sewers, for example.
Schulzer being able to evade through all of that, though, was a miracle. What's a chicken doing down there in the sewers, I wonder? Oh. Oh, no.
So on Schulzer's side, the rat room with the key just after the sewers has 3 of these red guards that are called Usain Bolts in some streams that immediately aggro on you as you try and get in. And Catobat also has this Lionel Hinox room. This is bullying him somewhat.
These rooms are just extensively rude at the moment. All right, Catobat swiftly evading now for the second time, getting through that room.
Yeah, nice use of iframes to get past those Lionels there, as Schulzer does finally manage to weaken down those guards and is into another sometimes dangerous room. Looks like this one is pretty friendly, though.
Looks like the hard part is nearly over. Just, gloves on the back of the sewers very early. That's a good sign. This will allow them to, if they want to, just do early Death Mountain, but it's not the ideal play right now. More likely than not, they're going to go ahead to Kakariko Village, especially with the bombs that they got in tow.
Yeah, for sure. More importantly, it puts them 1 item away from logical Dark World access.
And unfortunately, Catobat ended up taking a death to the guard party room, is what we're going to call it now.
Schulzer makes it through. Grabs another heart container of Sanctuary chest, and we'll find out a little bit more about the world here in a minute. Hopefully, we'll get a map check, see if we have shuffled maps. And it is entrance random, so we'll not have shuffled maps. And since we didn't see a fanfare for the big key in Zelda's cell, it also means that we have no key sanity for the seed.
And I would like to think our runners are going to breathe a sigh of relief to that notion, because key sanity on top of entrance randomized can be a bit of a pain to navigate through.
Yep. Ice Rod for Schulzer in the Sanctuary dropdown, which today was Thieves Hideout.
And our crab giving us hearts for our prize. Unearthing it. I think this is going to be like a tier 3 pull if they pull from the tree, but
should be tier 2. He's taking some damage, so hookshot cave here at Dark Mountain Ascent.
Interesting.
Not going to take it right now. Lots of things to do in this area first, but we'll definitely keep mind of that.
So with it being entrance shuffle, this means that our player is going to have to try to attempt to enter into every door just to figure out where goes to what and what goes to where.
Magic Bat at Lumberjack. So that item is going to be locked behind Aghanim and some boots. Catobat did make it, or did not make it to the final room. He's going to have to go through this escape one more time. That's very unfortunate.
Third time's the charm. This is just on. Thankfully, this is only a minor setback. Hopefully, once he gets through, he'll be able to blitz through the rest of the seed.
I didn't quite catch the crystals there as Schulzer pulled up the map.
We did get a red crystal on Tower of Hera. The others are yet to be marked just yet. Hopefully, our tracker will check back on that one and maybe update it a little bit later on as our runners go through. I noticed that the ice rod was picked up, and I didn't take the time to look at where it was attained from.
Ice rod was at the sanctuary drop down, the graveyard, which was Thieves Hideout.
Okay.
Thieves Hideout today just has our drop down fairy, so we're still missing a Ganon. We're still missing a well.
I bet you Kakariko Well has our Ganon, no doubt. I would like to think it would be the case. But yeah, the line over here, oof.
Yeah, Catobat's got 2 more rooms to get through. This one is no treat either. Another connector for Schulzer in Longhouse. It's the brother's right. Skips the other door for some reason.
He's using the Catobat, playing pretty smart and using pausing to take the time to plan out where he needs to run to and take a moment to take a peek at what's coming at him. So he was able to dodge through the rest of that to pass through and get through Sanctuary in time to go ahead and start off the seed finally.
Cackwell has Lumberjack, and I didn't get a chance to see what the item actually was there.
We get the brewery room in one of the random houses, and that just yields us just a piece of heart, I think. Yeah.
And Catobat did make it out. Thanks goodness there. Schulzer is going to drop down here, so it is worth something. We'll see what's in the. We get a picture here of what's in that well. Both runners will have easy access to it. It's just 20 rupees, but that is enough for Schulzer to go buy the item off the bottle vendor. It's a smart play by him to pick that up.
And our bottle merchant gives us the blue cane of Brianna.
It's
that allows her.
Yeah, it's a really good pickup at Enemizer. Any safety items that can let you escape through rooms as quickly as you can. Really important. As Catobat picks up his ice rod.
Yeah, that's a welcome sight to see very early in the seed. Especially with how the enemy placement has been. You kind of wish the seed gave that to you at the start, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bombable Hut in Light World has the arrow game, the archery game, which may be a nice place for our runners to farm some money up before they move on to the rest of the seed.
Yeah, that is a pretty good thing to come across so very early. Like especially just in case if you don't pick up any more rupees whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. Get a chance here in a moment to see the one room that is never randomized. The back of the tavern. There's only one cave that has this entrance, and it is the back of the tavern. So it's never switched up in an entrance randomizer, just a heart container.
You can never feel safe. Well, you can always feel safe at the back of the tavern, as they would call it.
Pretty much. No enemies to enemize.
It's always there for you when you need it.
Here's a big find. Blind's Hut. Shifted ever so slightly in Kakariko.
Well, just a little bit. Just like a scooch. All right, what do we get in our chest today from Blind Hut? We get Red Orang, 50 rupees, a lantern, and some bombs.
Lantern's a very nice pickup early, with a lot of these connectors being dark. And a bow as well. Really nice room for Schulzer there.
Yeah, now we're talking. That's the item progression I want to see. But yeah, Lantern is very useful for lighting up those dark rooms, especially with the way how entrances are crossed now. It also leaves a hint that maybe Aga 1 could be required in order to go to the Dark World, but we're still going to have to take a look here and there and everywhere just to look for the hammer, and hopefully we'll come across it so we don't really have to do it.
Yeah, Ganon in our magic bat hole, which means that Kakariko Well is inside the pyramid today. So that's 5 items that are going to be locked behind Aghanim 2. Okay, it is simple entrance shuffle. It's not crossed, as the connectors do connect with one another.
Okay. That is good to know.
Which also means we're only going to find our dungeons at dungeons.
Yeah, unfortunately, the race game entrance is part of a different section, unfortunately, so we're not going to be able to get to that. As we go to South Shore to take a look at where the next set of entrances are at. I won't be surprised if we see Hype Cave here very early.
Yeah, we do see Upgrade Ferry. It might be a place for our runners to remember.
Skipping the dam. Well, actually, yeah, skipping the dam would be a good idea because I don't think that changes on simple entrance swap, right? Ooh, we get Spike Cave and Mini Mordrum Cave.
I think that I'm not sure if the dam gets shuffled somewhere else in simple randomizer. But once you do find the dam, that water will stay down forever. So
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of. That's one of the things that you can be glad to just get that out the way. Once you drain the dam, it stays drained for ever, I want to say. Though,
yes.
don't quote me on that.
Yeah, it does stay drained forever.
As we get an empty room in the door next to the ice cave entrance, and the ice cave entrance has the front of the tavern.
But this is a big find. This is Mini Moldorm K with even with a couple Mini Moldorms, even an Atomizer.
Well, a couple of Helmsarms too along the way. All right, so what do we get here in our Mini Mordrum Cave? 10 arrows, the boots, 20 rupees, more bombs, and a piece of heart. You know, those boots alone, those make the Mini Mordrum Cave pretty good because
Absolutely.
boots early let you go fast, cuts time on transitioning to one place in the next, and just opens up a few more areas and probably our key item into getting some critical items later on.
Yeah, and Entrance Randomizer gives you access to a few more entrances. We're going to check the first one here in Bonk Rocks.
Bonk Rocks.
And then there's a couple pairs of Bonk Rocks by Link's House in the Light World and Dark World, and King's Tomb once we have access to it.
Yep, and it's just a matter of finding the right items in order to get to there. So, in order to get to King's Tomb, you can theoretically do it with the mirror, but if you have Titan's Mate, you can just straight up go to there immediately without needing the aid of the Dark World.
Yeah, but Schulzer's going to take these boots and take this connector, we presume, up to the Death Mountain. We'll be able to pick up one item in this cave for sure.
And from there, more likely than not, we're going to probably take a look at what's on the other side over here. as the floating head remains very stubborn and dying as we pull 20 rupees out from the one chest that we're capable of having access to.
Yeah, I don't know if Schulzer is a hoverer or not. It's a dangerous game in Atomizer, not knowing what you're walking into. As it does take us up to Death Mountain. Access to a few more entrances here. In simple entrance shuffle, all the Death Mountain entrances are shuffled amongst each other.
As we get the actual entrance to Death Mountain from what Paradox Cave should be at.
Here's a good one here. The item path for Spectacle Rock.
Yep, we'll get to see what item that we get from here, and it's a piece of heart. Schulzer is going to skip that because it seemed to find that necessarily good to get it through the trouble, go for the trouble of getting it, which is absolutely okay. He can pick up more pieces of heart later on the way, and that's in the form of finding chests. As he is going to go back into the entrance.
Yep, Death Mountain Sound. He's going to go pick up his old man and drop him off and get another item here and get over to the west side of Death Mountain. Also, shout outs to our tracker today, Safir, for getting all this crystal information for us while we're trying to pay attention to these entrances. It looks like we got a Pendant Eastern, which is kind of unfortunate having a bow and lamp early, and then Desert and Hera are both 5/6 crystals.
Yeah, it kind of sucks that it happened, that the Pendant Eastern is a pendant, but that you still could potentially need that bow for Pod. Pod may be a crystal.
Yeah, absolutely. I find Paradox Cave for Schulzer. He's going to look at these other entrances before hopping in. Can't get in that way with no mirror.
I want to say that's Bumper Cave.
That was the bottom of Bumper Cave. Oh,
taking an unfortunate death there.
Yeah, one of those sand creatures just hopped up and popped him. Does have the mountain or the old man say. We'll see where this drops him out at.
All I think is like one of the cliffs. Oh no, it's just not too far from there. Just the old man moved upstairs. Okay. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, pretty convenient. Another connector here. Meanwhile, it looks like Catobat's going to take this bow and lamp and head over to the eastern area and see what dungeon's over here.
See Shade Room. It gives us only 3 bombs, but this is another check out the way. Meanwhile, Schulzer is combing through the entrances here to look for the bottom part of Paradox Gate that he can get to get to those big juicy 5 chests. Well, 7 chests, I mean.
Yeah, 7 chests. This isn't it though, unfortunately. That's Kiki Skip. It could be an unfortunate situation where those other 2 Paradox entrances are locked away in the cliffs on East Death Mountain.
If that's the case, that'll be a heartbreaker, but let's hope not. As we go into the entrance of Spike Cave, we get to see the ferry. A ferry that will probably be beneficial to Catobat as he takes another death, unfortunately.
Yeah, didn't quite make it into Eastern Palace, unfortunately for him. We'll have to just make a decision again where to go, as the 2 Dark World entrances are nothing valuable on the west side of Death Mountain. Schulzer's going to remember that this is Old Man Cave is also a connector.
Those some very interesting placement for guards.
He did have access to one more cave there. That would have put him in behind the Titansmint locked cave. surprised you stayed without checking that.
He already went to the Titans Lock
Oh, he did? Okay.
cave, so that was like the one of the connecting homes. I think that was Grandma's.
Right. Okay. Just to shop and head Link's House Bonk Rocks. So I think at this point, Schulzer's going to head over to Eastern Palace area and see what's over there. Catobat taking another death.
These enemies are just laying in on Catobat, unfortunately.
Our Smiths are at the Hylia Fortune Teller.
And there's 300 rupees on Lake Hylia. Oh no, I'm talking
Lake Hylia Island, yeah.
Yeah, Lake Hylia Island. Say that 3 times fast.
Runners aren't going to bother with those. As this is
hello.
Waterfall Ferry with just some rupees, unfortunately.
Oh.
And Catobat's going to check these other 2 caves over on the way to Desert, the M Rock and Agonist Cave.
And inside our Rupee cave, we got another merchant tucked away. You wonder why they have these placements for them. As we get, all right, Hype Cave, let's go.
Hype Cave at Agana. I mean, Schulzer found Sick Kid at Sarasla.
Piece of heart, 10 arrows, hook shot, and 10 more arrows. Hook shot is pretty useful in this situation because you can move back and forth with it, as well as have access to a few other dungeons. But I usually use it to just move around a lot.
Yeah,
and use it for stun prize.
It's a nice thing to find. Right now, it doesn't open up too much as we have access to both sides of Death Mountain through connectors, but it will make traveling between the 2 sides a little bit simpler. Oh, that is a nasty little placement there. That spike roller right in the middle of the bridge path.
The seed slowly reminding our runners is that this is an enemizer, and it can just on a whim just throw a crystal roller in front of them. I guess you'll have to look where you dash at this point because this is rather cruel. As we get in the chest, just another heart.
Yeah, unfortunately, that means that Schulzer's not going to be able to continue on here. You do need a Skullwood small key to move on in this dungeon.
Meanwhile, Catobat's going to the witch hut just to take a look at what's going on in there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Catobat got killed on the way to Ice Rod Cave area and missed out on those boots.
Yeah, it's going to be really unfortunate. But looks like he's going to opt into doing Zora. So he's going to try to do that.
It makes sense. Doing a fake flipper and enemizer is always a dangerous game, as all those Zoras get replaced by other enemies. And you won't... if you found the boots before trying to fake flipper, you could do a water walk, but without that water walk, you'd just be swimming in an easy target for the enemies there.
Yeah, it makes it a lot harder to navigate and probably much more difficult to evade enemies and the like, as we see a bunch. Man, these guys look very, very happy and enthusiastic to be in here today. It must be a pool party happening.
In later Zelda games, Octoroks did become water creatures, so kind of fitting they're here today. Catobat forgetting he doesn't know how to swim.
That's okay. Sometimes I do that too. And Schulzer is now going through tracking the steps that Catobat has done to go into Hype Cave to get his hook shot. As we get scammed from the Zora fish, thank goodness.
Always a scam. Except when it isn't.
Always a scam.
So So one of the other interesting things about simple dungeon shuffle is this desert dungeon. We won't be able to get into it right now. We don't have the book, but it can only be desert or Turtle Rock.
Huh.
Because those are the only two dungeons that have 4 entrances.
And though the cave that we got here is was it the hint cave? Is that what they called it?
Yeah, it was just one of the Dark World hint caves. Nothing useful here today for our runners.
I was kind of hoping that Catobat would go back into Ice Cave, but I think he's considering that as a lost for now until he gets a flute or something to get back to there.
Yeah, meanwhile, Schulzer is going to take this hookshot and clear out the rest of Hookshot Cave.
And so is Catobat as he enters in the Ice Cave as well. Both of them finding a fire rod, small shield, and the last one? As we wait for this spark. There we go. Hammer!
So that is Dark World access.
We got our Dark World access. Thank goodness for that. Catobat getting bullied off the platform there by the spark, unfortunately. The fire spark. These enemy placements are rude.
Yeah, this hammer is really well guarded. Smart move by Catobat, busting out this Cane of Burna.
Yeah, I agree with Goat doing it just like that. So now I would like to think after that. I just realized this. How come they haven't gotten? They went through the exit through. How come they went through the island exit yet for Hookshot Cave? Have they went through there already? Oh no, they did. That's how they got in here. Duh.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I think Catobat had the same idea and then realized, oh, that's how I got to here in the first place.
The Schulzer trying to do a fake flipper.
Oh yeah, here we come. The last deletion.
Gets it done. Well done.
Clean.
And it is Graveyard Ledger, so another item.
And thanks to the fact that we have the Moon Pearl, we are able to re-enter it through unusual means. Meaning that we get a bug net. Oh, you're not gonna pick up the bug net?
No respect for the swag.
Oh, well, it's not even swag at this point. That could be safety strat right there.
Yeah, no bottles yet, unfortunately, to make that bug net super useful. But
yeah,
no respect for the net. Schulzer's gonna go and get scammed here.
Hopefully, it will not come and bite him in the rear end once he gets to the later part of the seed.
Catobat getting the bad news about Paradox Cave as well. As at this point, we have to assume that those other 2 entrances are either on top of East Death Mountain or oh, he's doing a resetting his cache. Smart move by Schulzer there.
Yeah, there's no point in letting him have all that money, so it's a good idea to do that.
Schulzer's going to give us our first dip into the Dark World proper.
All right. We're more likely going to get a map check here, and we'll see what we got going in the Dark World. At some point. At least I would like to think so.
At first, he's going to check out this dungeon, because don't need to drain the dam to see what's in here.
Yep.
It is Tower of Hera, which is totally doable.
Yep. That's
and it is a crystal.
There's our big key right there. You can do hair pot glitch if he ever feels so inclined. You'll just need to line it up properly enough in order to get it. There's a book of some more right there.
Yeah, one of our 2 items here. Very nice spin speed strats for the hairpot clip for Schulzer there.
Yeah, got that there pretty cleanly and quickly. As we are now going to drop down and take a look at the big chest as well as the compass chest. In our big chest, we got the compass itself, funny enough. And in the compass chest itself, it's a small key. Hopefully the map is in the bottom basement, the coffee break room, because if not, then our runners are either going to have to gamble it not being there at all, or just go ahead and take the time away.
We have a Moldworm here, so not able to tell yet whether this is boss shuffle or not. There are
eyes, though.
Yeah, it has this different number of eyes no matter whether you're doing boss shuffle or not. If you have regular randomizer on, only a few different kinds of bosses can be in this room because of the size of it. So won't be able to tell from here. But there are a couple other dungeons that are completable for Schulzer once he finds them. So we'll get a little more information as we go along. It does get crystal number 1, so Triple Down Disaster on the board with their first crystal.
Not only the first crystal, but there's also a red crystal as well, meaning that he needs one more crystal to get Act to go into what should be the Pyramid Ferry, but we don't know if that's the Pyramid Ferry location or not. But yeah, we did get a map check on Catobat's side, and we do have green pendant on Ice Palace, meaning that the rest of the dungeons are green. Well, not green, not the rest of the dungeons, but Ice Palace and Pod are pendants, which is rather unfortunate after finding the bow. But we just have to live with it. But yeah, that means the rest of the dungeons are blue crystals. So that's Swamp Palace, Skull Woods, Thieves Town, Misery Mine, and Turtle Rock. Meaning that we had to find the medallions in order to get access into the last 2 dungeons there. And gonna have to look for flippers as well for our Swamp Palace dive.
Yeah, I won't be surprised after this if Schulzer makes his way over to Pod area and checks the pyramid and see what he needs to do to beat this game.
After you get 5 rupees in the ice cave, which is rather unfortunate, but we just have to move on and think about our other options here. But making a move towards to the pyramid area, I would like to assume, because that will be the next good course of action at the very least.
Yeah, he's going to check this entrance here and then probably head up to the pyramid. There is a sign at the pyramid which will tell our runners what they need to do to defeat Ganon, whether it's a certain number of crystals, whether it's all dungeons, or whether they need to go pull the pedestal, you dingus.
Well, thankfully enough, it's not a Triforce hunt.
Yeah, no one. I mean, there are people who like Triforce hunt, but our runners are typically not big fans of a format that is as high variance as Triforce hunt brings us. 6 crystals to beat Ganon. I am not. Yeah, those are flippers on the pyramid.
Yeah,
nice find there.
There's our flute.
Our flute. It was blue. It was a flute, flippers. I baited you to that one. I'm not 100% sure in simple entrance shuffle if that pyramid will be open or not for fast Ganon. I believe not. So we won't know until we actually go to Ganon whether or not GT will be needed to be beaten. We do know that we'll need some number of crystals to get into GT because this is simple entrance shuffle. That GT entrance may end up being a crystal dungeon of its own.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely a dungeon of some sort, as Catobat making his way through Hera.
He didn't need the bomb jump. He had the hook shot. Now he's falling down.
Yeah, that's that bomb jump is pretty bad. If you miss it, you have to drop down 2 floors, and depending on how you've moved your camera, you can end up being stuck in there. And without a mirror, that means you're save and quitting. Does have a hook shot to cross without the bomb jump, but would have to take 1 fall to do that, though, without those boots.
And now we're seeing a clear difference as to why boots are very important early game. And if you do not find them very early in the game and hope that they're in late game, you're in for a rude surprise. As he tries this again, you have the hook shot. You have the. I'm not sure if he knows he has the hook shot yet. Like technically, yes, you can't really do much. Well, you could do like the weird way to do hair pot, but you could hook shot to the big chest if needed.
Yeah, bootsless hair pot isn't that bad. It does take a lot of practice or pause buffering to get the right pixels.
And he does it pretty cleanly too. Okay, so now that he's back upstairs, he's gonna do this one more time, except he's gonna drop down the legit way. As we are at the back of Salha's hut and only find absolutely nothing of use, unfortunately. Schulzer saving and quitting more likely is going to check the Kakariko side of Dark World now, from the looks of it.
It's going to turn in this flute first.
That too.
Yeah, with where there's a nice little Lionel just in the middle.
Oh,
Choked him. Oh my goodness. Those Lionels deal so much damage.
Schulzer was trying to dash through him, and the Lionel just clipped him like a football player.
Yeah, it might be a little slower to go from Sanctuary over because Sanctuary is a little further east than it normally was. But I see that Lionel. I might just take that route.
Thankfully, though, Schulzer's just managing to run past him now this time. On second and down. Well, second and 10, I mean. Taking the first now. Going into Kakariko Village to use the flute. And more likely than not, I'm going to go to Dark World from there.
For those of you hopping in early, a little bit late here, we have a simple entrance shuffle endomizer, no item randomization, so no key sanity. Still don't know whether or not this could be a standard or a hard item pool. We do know it's 6 crystals for Ganon, and I think that's about all the information we have at this point. As Catobat's going to go through the basement here to get this last item. I don't remember if Schulzer took the coffee break or not.
No, he did not.
So this is something like another sword. As a cape is on our pedestal. Highly unlikely that's going to be necessary, but
you may never know. Like, Bumper Cave may have the flippers.
Possibly, but Bumper Cave shouldn't exit.
Oh, right.
Up
because
there.
Ice Palace is a pendant. Ugh. Excuse me.
What it may do is it may be the one route up to the east side of Death Mountain.
That is true.
That blocks the mirror. That would be the one way where it would be an absolute necessity.
Right.
Catobat didn't see it was anything useful down there, and Death Warp's out. As Schulzer starts parsing all of these Skull Woods caves. Skull Woods is a little weird dungeon and entrance randomizer. Because all of these caves and drop downs are kind of hard to pair up with anything else. Everything but the back of Skull Woods is randomized inside of itself. But the back of Skull Woods entrance will be some other dungeon. We've seen the back of Skull Woods at Eastern Palace, so whatever's at the back of Skull Woods will be some other dungeon here in the shuffle.
If it's generous, I would like to think it'll be anything like Eastern Palace. Because, we could definitely use something that's not horribly bad, right?
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, I guess Thieves Town probably be the best find because it's also a crystal. The only two dungeons we can complete at this point. I guess we can complete Ice 2, which is not the worst. But Pod and Eastern are completable, but there are also pendants. Ice is a pendant as well. So, of all the dungeons we have, only Thieves Town to be completable here as a crystal.
And now we're getting to the back part of Skull Woods. We're going to open it up and take a look at which dungeon it is. And it's Thieves Town.
Thieves Town.
All right.
Nice. Good find. Schulzer can full clear this dungeon, has a hammer. No key sanity on. We'll find all the keys he needs for it. So 4 items in here for him.
Hopefully some of those items will lead to some progression as we pull up the big key. That's our only hopeful dungeon item that we're going to pray that we get in this dive today. As we get Lionel. Oh, gee. This seed is something else.
Yeah, this Atomizer has not been the kindest, especially with a couple of the rooms. I'm thinking of the room of Lionel's and Hinox's and Escape that both our owners had a bit of trouble with.
Yeah. It's almost seemed like we have been coming across a Lionel like every other section of the map or so, which is kind of terrifying. I think they swapped with the place of the lizards. I forgot what they called. The red ones, at least.
Yeah, not universally here is the red lizard guys are a little bit different in each room. Atomizer does do a pretty good job of mixing up the pools where it can.
Yeah.
This room is quite terrifying.
Oh, jeez. I was about to say if that spike was stuck into the flipper switch, we would have been having some issues, but thankfully enough, you can just use the extension of the sword and hit that if that was the case. Bunch of thieves in here too in Thieves Town Dungeon. How fitting. And
yeah, definite flavor when they're just 20 rupees upstairs, unfortunately. Why did you hit the switch there, buddy?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you don't need to hit the switch anymore.
Very smart to use a bomb there to hit it remotely and not have to try and mess with that room anymore.
Yeah, they need to be careful for a bit in order to navigate through the rest of this dungeon. So one thing that Schulzer didn't do, what I thought he was going to do, is immediately go to the boss to see if it was there's some sort of actual boss shuffle in the game itself, but it didn't seem like that was the case.
Someone in chat mentioned earlier that we did see that Moldorm's item dropped directly where Moldorm was and not in the center of the arena, which is usually a pretty good tell that boss shuffle is off.
Okay.
I think we'll be able to confirm it here in Thieves Town, though, in just a moment.
Well, we already did because the maiden's already in the cell, so...
Yep. Just a compass in the big chest, so Blind will have our last item here.
As Catobat is going through the dig game section. How many more digs does he need to get to the item? As Schulzer is going through his blind fight.
And just a big 20 in the dig game after looked like about 20 digs. So a lot of time wasted for not a lot of profit. Catobat really needs to get back to the Ice Rod Cave area and get those boots sooner rather than later, but it's going to be hard to justify heading over there having almost all of the main Dark World open to you.
Well, he has Flute. He can quickly dip into there. He has not checked the entrance to it as well, so that will be a good idea to do. Just to not isolate it, because if you isolate it, well, in this situation, isolating it is a very bad thing, because now you're slowly slipping away from Schulzer. But if he can get the boots from there, he have some point of being able to, at the very least, match the pacing that Schulzer is going at. Or in the case if Schulzer mess ups a lot, he can actually catch up to him. Not having boots in this case will just it's just slowly losing the
this advantage keeps ticking up and up as Schulzer finishes cleaning up the front of Skullwoods here. One nice thing, at least for Catobat right now, is he hasn't found those flippers yet, and if you had like flippers or mirror, you might think about waiting to parse in those Ice Rod Cave area checks until you can check the Dark World side of those, as those three entrances are a pretty nice find in entrance randomizer. But not having either of those pieces is going to make it a lot harder for Catobat to put off checking that area. That said, though, every time he gets in the Dark World, he's got no way back, and it's another few minutes of putting off finding those boots, as Schulzer is going to check out our Dark Lumberjack and finds the dam. Get the item here, which is the mitts. That is huge.
All right. Titan's mitt. Let's go. And also, we can drain the dam in this one, so that'll allow.
Drain the dam will get us one more item. That sunken treasure spot in the light world will be open for the rest of the game. And once we find some flippers, we'll be able to go through swamp no matter where it is.
But yeah, that's a huge find there. Titan's mitts allows us to get to a few other key areas and get us to a few more checks at the very least, which is great, as well as a few entrances to check into.
Just a few rupees on Bumper Ledge, but a couple more items inside the cave here as our connector to get up there is going to be Super Bunny.
So I feel like the Super Bunny will lead us to the upper part of East Side Death Mountain, which should in turn give us the access to Paradox Cave.
No, there's the flippers.
Oh, no.
Right there. This is going to lead out to the bumper exit in Simple Shuffle. These two caves are connected together.
Okay. But yeah, flippers being there means the lead is now further increased by a lot.
Yeah, and it's another dungeon that Schulzer can complete if he finds it in Swamp Palace.
And we are going down to this very off the mark section of Dark World in order to get into this one little room and come across into the shop here, which is actually one of the more Dark World residents' home.
Yeah, the Curiosity Shop is a place where a lot of entrance randomizer runs go to die, as runners who aren't as experienced in the mode kind of forget that it's there, and often has progression in it.
Meanwhile, we get a chance to take a look at Pyramid Fairy Cave, which was inside the Dark World's fortune teller, that was rather interesting to come across. But fortunately, those two checks didn't really yield us anything good, so we're going to keep moving on. As we are now in Thieves Town, we're going to check the dungeon here, and this dungeon is Ice Cave. We're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and move on.
Yeah, Ice Palace being our green pendant, not a priority for Schulzer to hop in and take on that dungeon, especially with just a fighter's sword and green mail. A fair number of hearts, but no actual safeties other than it's hard to use the cane as a safety when you need that full magic meter.
Exactly.
another Dark World resident house there. So one more location to check here in Village Outcasts.
And then from there, he can probably rescue the blacksmith from here if he feels inclined to. Or he can check the peg cave to see what entrance is there, which he exactly is going to do.
Yeah, I like this. Without a mirror, you're gonna have to save and quit to take the Smith home, and the Smith is kind of far away from Kakariko today. So I like getting this check out of the way now, and deciding what you want to do after that. Those flippers, you might end up grabbing the Smith and taking them all the way to the Dark World Ice Rod area. Catobat doing a good job making his way through Thieves Town here. This is one of the more dangerous rooms. We know what's coming after is even more brutal. This Dead Rock cooperating a bit, actually. I guess I missed it. Schulzer's already been over to the shopping mall area. Did fake flipper to get over there. Didn't find much to go off of there. So won't be taking the Smith over for a trip in that direction. Is going to dig up 20 rupees here, though.
And once he does, he'll probably just promptly leave. He can also check Stuffy in this case as well. He has not made the moves to check out Stumpy or check out the bottom South Shore Dark World side. So more likely than not, he's going to go ahead and do those, or if not, come back to get the Smith.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he went back to get the Smith at this point. But he is going to go grab him and save and quit.
Yeah, more likely than not, he's going to grab the Smith and then route in the rest of South Shore Dark World and then save and quit and then go back to the Light World in order to drop the Smith off, which, if I'm not mistaken, should be like right in one of the fortune teller shops.
Yeah, it's in the fortune teller right next to Link's house. So it's 2 screens away from your start. So it's pretty convenient. So now we'll see if it admits lead anything as Catobat takes a rough death in the basement of Thieves Town, getting gibdoed.
Worth mentioning that you do have the boomerang, and boomerangs can stun Gibdos.
Even better, though, he's got a fire rod and can just blast that bad boy. We get our first look at our Lightward flipper checks from Schulzer here. We have a hobo, and I guess he did pull off a fake flipper to check out Waterfall Ferry. We'll get the look at the hobo, though. Can take a look at Ice Palace as well.
Yeah. He already checked on Zora, and
yep,
that yielded nothing. So
yeah, this is the one flipper check he hasn't done yet.
And that's a piece of heart. Gives him another whole heart, though, so no complaining there, which is okay. It's a matter of finding out which dungeon or which part of which is the 2 entrants here in the Light World Ferry upgrade area, as well as the Ice Palace dungeon, and see what dungeon lies in there. Catobat making his way to the basement once more. I don't like to think that he's going to deal with... There we go. Yep, there you go. If you're not going to kill him, at the very least stun him so he won't be in the way.
Yeah. Find Agana's cave at Ice Rod Upgrade Cave, and just 100 rupees there from Agana. We're going to find out what's in the Ice Palace dungeon here in just a moment on Schulzer's side.
So I just now noticed that stun prize yielded a piece of heart, a heart refill. So if our runner is inclined in doing so, should be doing some stuns to be at the very least get some more hearts on the board to safely do this. To at the very least safely do the fight, as we get Ganon's tower on Schulzer's side, which I'm going to assume is the Ice Palace entrance.
It is.
So we get to check the entirety of Ice Palace out, which is actually great.
Yeah, we won't be able to get on the right-hand side. We don't have a Cane of Samaria, but do have Hookshot and Hammer to clear out the left side. And if our big key is there, it can clear out upstairs as well.
If you do get the key here, I feel like if you're going to climb, you're committed to not coming back here. So I would like withhold on that idea until I am certain, or I'm in go mode to, at the very least, to finish the rest of the seed up.
The climb is locking 5 more items though in the Kakariko Well, which is at our Ganon's Tower location today.
Point
So that is super tempting. It might be tough to climb with just a fighter sword though. That might be a consideration if your health drops pretty low. Choose not to, but it would be hard for me to pass up clearing out Ganon, which means that if it is a defeat Ganon and not fast Ganon seed, then I don't have to worry about that later. Plus getting 5 more items.
As we get some mini Helmsaurs and the here we go, fairy in a bottle,
and bottle number 1 for Schulzer. I'm pretty sure he remembers that Sick Kid is. I don't know if he had actually been over to Eastern Palace where Sick Kid is at today in Saraslo's hut.
Yeah, this is partly the reason why I would pick up the bug net at this point, because there's our big key and there's a small key, so he can do the he can go into the
the climb. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gonna finish off the rest of this basement as much as he can. We'll orphan those 5 items that are locked in behind Cane of Samaria.
Doing a successful bonk to bypass the warp tile. Personally, I think I would.
There.
Yeah. I was going to say, personally, I wouldn't isolate Armos just yet, because going down there can yield 3 more items as well. So that's worth checking. Well, 4 more items as well. So it's worth checking out.
Yeah, I did get the big chest. Nothing in there. Is going to choose to do this Armos area. Bob's chest is being guarded by Terrapin.
Turtle. And he does have the arrows to take out Armos.
Maybe without the mirror, you decide not to climb because it takes too long to get back to the lobby from here.
Not too particularly. Well, there's a bee in the bottle. Bombs and some rupees.
Nothing much behind Armos, and does choose a saving quid here.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to hold off on making the climb today to be able to do some other checks in the meantime. Meanwhile, Catobat is now going into the Super Bunny Hub Cave. He's going to get his flippers, which will allow him some access to some of the watery areas.
Yeah, and Catobat did make it through Thieves Town as well, so good job for him. He's trying to keep pace as well as he can, up to 2 crystals apiece on each side. This Lionel is very aggressive, as are all Lionels.
Taking a moment to gauge the Lionel to see if he's actually in the way of the stairs before squeaking past.
I ended up taking a hit from the fire, which gave him enough iframes to get around the Lionel, even if it did damage him. And smartly here, taking a death. Does have that fairy, though, so he's going to lose that.
But yeah, I did not agree with him passing up the bug net at this point, because that allow you to, at the very least, if a fairy comes around again, you can catch that to get another insurance, especially with the deaths they've been having lately.
Yeah, it might end up being the case with no access to the magic shop yet. No way to really refill those bottles reliably.
But we are going to go and pay a visit to Mafia. Wallmaster, was about to come down and pick him out from the pit, which would have been rather unfortunate, but no, he made it there in time to transition. Meanwhile, the Spikes are doing some funny business here, as Mafia is doing its usual thing, flapping about annoyingly and firing rings.
Really good fight from Schulzer. Spacing his hammer shots out well, pinning Mothra to those 4 non-spike blocks to get damage in with those hammer hits. Really well done.
Yeah, he made that look very easy, and I assure you, that room, not much of a fan of it. It's not that easy as either.
Catobat looks into Ice Palace, shoots a shot at a freezer, misses, and decides this isn't the life for him.
Understandable. I understand this feeling a lot as we get Schulzer paying to visit a sick kid to get 5 rupees.
Not even lunch money today. Kind of like a McDonald's breakfast.
Well, if you have some change, you can get like a hot and ready from Little Caesars. But
there you go.
But at this point, why would you eat cardboard pizza? Gonna go ahead and take the moment to venture into Spike Cave. Gonna make sure that he uses as much health as he can get before he uses magic, which is the smart play here. As we see in our chests, only bombs. Thanks, Seed. I hate it.
It's hot, it's ready, and that's it.
Yeah, we're totally not sponsored by any other companies that we have mentioned, so.
We're going to take this book and we're going to take a look at what the Desert Palace front is, whether it's desert or Turtle Rock.
I would like to think it's desert. I hope it's desert.
Our runners hope it's desert as well and not Turtle Rock, because you ain't going to be able to do anything in here without the King of Samaria. And
it's desert. All right, let's go. We got some. I guess you could say that this is just the guard barracks here at this point, because there's nearly every guard in here. All we're missing is the cannonballers, and we have ourselves just a fun shindig here.
Yeah, guards alive and dead in here, and metallic. I don't know. Are Igors?
I guess you can.
Are they organic or not? I don't know.
I think Igors are like. I wouldn't say they're organic, but they're definitely like golems, if anything. I like to think they're golems.
Yeah, in any case, we got a big key and a small key. No items yet out of desert. Still got a couple checks left. There's gonna be 2 items in this dungeon.
So there may be a dungeon item on the torch, but it could be also a progression item. Let's hope it's a progression item.
It is a progression item.
Hey, King of Samaria, hello.
So at this point, our Schulzer is gonna be able to complete any dungeon he comes across.
Theoretically, he's in go mode, but he doesn't. But unless the rest of the dungeons that he enters in are both Misery Mire and Turtle Rock, he'll have to look for medallions in order to get access into those dungeon entrances.
Yeah, and he'll still need a sword for actual go mode. We can't beat Ganon with just this flimsy little fighter sword.
And Catobat now making his way into the ice cave now. He is finally going to get his boots, And when he does, he is going to feel very, very bad because he would have had these a long time ago. Meanwhile, Schulzer is going through the back part of Desert Palace.
Yeah, this area is being quite aggressive. A couple Gibdos, some mini helmet or mini Moldorms and mini Helmosaurs, not making it easy on a runner. As Catobat does finally find mini Moldorm Cave, and it's going to be rewarded with boots a little late.
And he's going to look at that and go, oh no.
Yeah, chat pointing out that because desert is desert, Turtle Rock is Turtle Rock. So we're going to need Medallion to get into Turtle Rock. So we are definitely not in go mode yet. But whatever dungeon Schulzer finds in Pod, he'll be able to beat. And same for Misery Mire once he heads there. Once he's Medallion.
That is correct. And with that crystal collected, that is his second red crystal. He should be able to enter in the entrance of the Pyramid Fairy side once he's able to get to the Bosmith and all that. But it looks like he's opting out that to go ahead and checking out the other area, which is Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, this definitely makes sense. As a dungeon you can beat. You're just going to hope it's Mire or Turtle Rock or Swamp. One of your last 3 crystals. Picks up a mushroom in Dark Flute 5. So we'll turn that in at some point, and once we find our magic shop, we'll be able to get another item there. May also potentially do a... oh no, Lumberjacks have our magic bat, so not even going to bother with the fake powder.
So yeah, more likely than not, I think, let me see, it was only 6 crystals, right?
Yeah, it's only 6 crystals.
And we did end up finding GT. So, yeah, this is the only dungeon that he'll need to do if it's not pendant.
He's on 4 right now. He doesn't.
Oh, he's on 4. Okay,
yeah,
never mind.
I missed this, and this is a pendant. This is Eastern Palace. 3 items in here. Very quick dungeon to go through. So don't fault him at all for going through and getting the items out of here.
Make an excellent use of the cane dash there.
Yeah, quick swap being in this seasonal league has made this room far more interesting strategy wise. If you have one of those safety items, you can just tab over, lock on your cane of burner, your cape, and dash through without losing much time at all.
And Catobat, it is going through Ganon's Tower. He just now
we have an interesting decision on Catobat's side. You have to feel super behind finding the boots this late. You died a bunch of times. It might be more interesting for Catobat to take the gamble and climb Ganon's Tower than it was for Schulzer. Schulzer getting baited in the Stalfos room there as the 3rd one ended up spawning for him.
And Catobat takes the time. He's gonna reserve. It looks like he wants to reserve his magic at this point.
Yeah, that makes me feel like he's more inclined to make the climb than not.
One thing I did that runner that if it's possible, you can kill those shades in their spawning place, so to say, where they hide in with the hook shot. So you don't need for them to come out. But if they are in a wall, it does tend to get a little hard to do. You can also kill them with the bombs, and thanks to the bomb's explosion radius, more likely than not, you will be able to hit them with it. So that's worth keeping in mind whenever you have to deal with enemies like that.
Yeah, and shadows are very, very common in Entomizers, so knowing how to deal with those in rooms where you don't normally have them is a big deal. Catobat trying to figure out how to do this room with the magic boomerang gets the first room down.
And as well as the second room. Meanwhile, Schulzer is going into the back part of Eastern Palace. He's gonna go ahead and do a bit of cleaning up. And once he finishes here, he'll probably go ahead and take a look at another dungeon.
Yeah, nice job dealing with one of the more dangerous rooms in Eastern Palace, that entrance upstairs. Normally not the worst place in the world, with just the six smaller enemies and the 2 Igors, but making it 8 random enemies in a room with limited vision can be a mess.
Or if you like me in my one multi-world run, it could be a dark room with like 2 to 3 crystal rollers in there.
Yeah, that room is already one of the harder dark rooms without a fire rod. There's little chance I would try it in Entomizer.
And we are coming across Armos once more, setting up the quick kill, getting the first one out, and is now going through the process of finishing this up. Oh, he misses the quick kill, but he still cleans it up for 10 arrow.
Yeah, so nothing really of note in Eastern Palace for Schulzer, unfortunately. We don't know what's on pedestal as of yet, so we don't know if there's pendants. Again,
I thought it was Cape.
Oh, it is Cape. We do know it's Cape, which Cape could be the way up to the top side of Death Mountain. If the mirror is up there. Could be the way into Paradox Cave, which would be gross. But at this point, I don't think we have any more dungeons we can get into without, or get Mire. Mire could be our Palace of Darkness, which would give us access to all 3 crystals without the mirror, or all 3 pendants without the mirror. Chicken Hut for Schulzer are yielding only a big 20.
And
the Fairy has our Curiosity Shop. And Catobat is going to make the climb. So we will see what is upstairs here. There's 4 checks up here, and then 5 more inside the pyramid.
If he finds the mirror up here, it'll be a very huge find for him. It'll allow him to, at the very least, pull some of the lead that Schulzer has on him. Much, much closer. As Schulzer is making his way to the entrance of Pyramid Ferry.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many single entrance locations are left that have items, so I'm not sure if going to pay off or not for Schulzer. Does manage to get a dash off with the bomb, clear out of the space a little bit quicker than normal. Meanwhile, Catobat taking a death, going to cash in this fairy. As steadfast. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and we have Mirror on Library Ledge, which was locked behind Pyramid Ferry entrance. Schulzer's had to feel very good about that one.
Yeah, that is huge. That kills off our pedestal. Will give him access to the Turtle Rock entrance via the old walk around strats. But that is going to give him access to all dungeon entrances as soon as he gets some medallions. Didn't quite catch what Mire was there.
He took a very quick peep, and I could not tell for the life of me what it was. More likely than not, when he finds it, wait. Okay, it's Bombos.
Bombos, yeah. We don't have any medallions yet, so we're going to need to find, or we'll likely need to find one of them, whether it be Bombos or whatever is a Turtle Rock.
And again, giving us a red potion in the chess game, which would be in the second Mire shed, the left Mire shed, I should say. As you get a shield in another resonant Dark World resonant area, which should be K45, but it's not.
And that shield showing up tells us that it is not hard mode items as well. And there's a Master Sword finally for Schulzer.
Yeah.
This mirror already paying off.
Master Sword, thank goodness for that. We are getting much, much closer now to finishing up the seed. We just need to find our rest of the goodies. Find the rest of the goodies from here.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't hate this gamble from Catobat at all. But does not look like it's going to pay off for him. As Schulzer's going to collect all of these items in Paradox Cave.
Piece of heart, some more bombs, 50 rupees, heart piece, and more bombs.
Not much in there. What it does give us is a couple fresh entrances, though.
Yep.
Schulzer, though, is going to choose to go get over to the East Death Mountain the reliable way by hitting this portal, mirroring on top of Spectacle Rock, and crossing the bridge.
It's also worth mentioning that he does have the book, so he might be checking the tablet as well, just in case.
Absolutely.
So let us see what is on the Ether tablet today. We get from the skies more bomb.
More blueberries. We do get another dungeon entrance here, though. Hera, this will be our first look at what Hera contains.
And what's in Hera is Eastern Palace.
No,
that's Pod.
Yeah, no interest at all from Schulzer, knowing that pedestal is not valuable at this point. Just looking for one of those, or for those 2 crystal dungeons.
And now for the entrance of Turtle we get Ether Medallion.
Yeah, so we'll need at least one of those 2. Because both of those are going to have crystals for us. Schulzer doing the smart thing here is going to head over and take a look at what Gainus Tower requires. If it's got less than 6 crystals, it's likely a crystal of its own. Looks like it opened at 0 today.
Yeah, looks like it's completely open.
And it is Misery Mires. This will be crystal number 5 for Schulzer if he can make it through. And that means Swamp is at Misery Mire.
All right. So once he gets a chance to go into Misery Mire, he'll be able to. Once he gets to the swamp. Once he gets inside Misery Mire, he'll be able to get to Swamp.
Yeah, this is a very brutal torture room for Catobat. Does have a couple fairies saved up from the safety room downstairs, but I don't envy that part of the climb at all.
Yeah, that's
giant spike trap right in the middle.
It's very rough. Meanwhile, Schulzer is looking for his Godmire key, And going into the bridge chest, he almost found a piece of heart, which is unfortunately not going to be Godmire today.
Can't quite get the Godmire. Doesn't really want the Godmire yet. Still looking for one of two medallions. So can't really justify boss rushing here. Would certainly take that big key and go to the boss first and come back in, but not the worst that it didn't find the big key this quickly. A powder for a Catobat in the top of Ganon's tower. Nice safety, but the item location to unlock that is just not very useful.
Not very, yeah. Not very good.
And there is that big key. And Schulzer with one item already is going to take this all the way and go. We'll check this one chest here, but we may decide to go check the boss before checking the rest of the dungeon. Nice clip there to get through the railing.
Yeah, very good clip there. That's something that I still need to like remember how to do, to be honest. I did it once and I kind of forgotten how to do it due to how niche the situation is for moments like that. As we get in our big chest, a small key.
Catobat getting bullied big time by Moldorm too here. I believe he has one more fairy, so not going to die here, but there is still one more very scary room in before Aghanim 2.
And that would be the mini Helmstorms parading around, which could potentially be crystal rollers, but let's hope that's not the case. That he picks up Path Magic.
Another really nice safety, but
too deep in the
progression that Catobat is looking for in here. Is this room very friendly?
More like anti-fairy friendly. But yeah, after finishing this up, I think Catobat is gonna, at the very least, retrace social steps. Gonna probably, at the very least, go to Desert Palace once he finds that out and does it. Get his mirror, and then we'll just go from there. Making clean work of Aga 2, though.
Yeah, well done by Catobat in that fight. We'll see what 5 items are locked in behind Aghanim 2 here at Ganon's Tower. Meanwhile, Schulzer heading over to Vitreous here. Gets bullied a little bit by a giant spike trap.
Piece of heart. I don't even think the silvers are in here. I would like to think the case the silvers being in here, but I doubt it.
There's a sword.
There is a sword there, so you'll be able to have tempered. A whole heart, another whole heart, and a piece of heart.
Yeah, he'll have tempered for this Vitreous fight, which will save a bit of time. There's a lot of time to make up. He's got a lot of work to do still.
Well, yeah, whatever or not those safeties was worth doing were the key here for him, but he's gonna go ahead and keep moving on, catching a fairy in the bottle.
Nice job by Catobat getting through phase 1 without getting bopped by one of those eyes and taking a death. Still not out of the woods yet. Gonna play a little ping pong.
Yeah, it's gonna hammer the eyeball back a bit, back and forth, back and forth. Chauffeur's almost finished with the fight. Just needs to be careful, because one good hit from the eyeball spells the end for him. And there we go.
And there's crystal number 5 for Schulzer. So Schulzer is still looking for one of these 2 medallions, either Bombos or Ether, to get into his 6th crystal dungeon. Meanwhile, Catobat still has a lot of work to do.
Trailing behind by 4 crystals. I would like to think that he just... I feel like if he realizes that if Schulzer finishes, he'll most likely forfeit if he checks the room still. But as we see here,
Spiral Cave going to lead us up to the floating island. I don't think there was anything up there of note.
I think it was 5 rupees.
That's not much of note.
Next week is 80 keys, which is a pretty famous category now this year from the looks of it. A lot of people have been doing a lot of 80 keys and so on forth. Like, I think last year was like casual boots, and now everyone is doing 80 keys.
Schulzer's going to head over to, I assume, check. I was going to hop into GT now. Clear out the right side for sure. Maybe climb.
If he does decline, then that means that Catobat did, at the very least, did the decent decision as far as to try to get his tire out the way.
Yeah, it's got to be hard to say no to the climb for Schulzer, as it's 9 items. We know at this point that all he'll get for it is a sword, but the climb may still be required, so it's really hard to say no to it at this point.
And also taking the time to do the tire room, which is not the room that you normally would want to clear first, but he was already in this tire beforehand, so he feels like a lot of his options are very limited, and feels like one of the either Bombos or Ether is the item will be in here at this point. And let's see if it is. Nope, just 1 rupee. Rather unfortunate too.
It's a really great payoff there for sitting in the tile room. Really what you're looking for.
Yeah, 1 rupee. Just that 1 single rupee. That 1 rupee was minted way back in the golden era, so that must be worth a lot of money. Theoretically.
Kind of a nasty conveyor room there before this compass chests area. And the silver arrows for
There's
Schulzer.
our silvers.
But no medallion. Not sure why he's bothering to grab the key here. Just muscle memory for sure. Does choose not to make the climb. And then changes his mind immediately. So yeah, Schulzer will make the climb here.
Okay.
While Catobat's going through Eastern, we've seen everything in here. So...
Yeah. You will not find a medallion in here, so that means Catobat will have some chance of catching up to him should he
Schulzer goes 1 room in and decides to back out.
Oh, okay.
It's a very bold decision. It's a lot of items that he's leaving on the table there. Like I said, we know that it's nothing of note other than a tempered sword, but that is a lot of items in one section to put away when you're looking for 1 item for go mode.
He might be looking to do. Did he already do King's Tomb as well as Graveyard?
I don't. He just got to the mirror and went straight to the mire area, so he hasn't done. I don't think he's done Graveyard Ledge or King's Tomb as of yet.
Well, it looks like we get to see what is in these 2 areas. We get the Lumberjack home and a Graveyard Ledge. That's rather spooky. And we're going to go take a look inside the King's Tomb. And within there, we are going to get the other side of Ice Cave Dungeon. The Ice Cave. Ugh.
Yeah, the bad side of Ice Rod Cave.
No one wants that side. It doesn't even have a treasure chest in there. And it looks like Schulzer is making the dive into the Ice Palace. Well, I'm going to grab the green pendant. Well, or either that or check the chest here. He's going to check the chest here and hope that he'll come across one of the two required medallions to get into Swamp Palace. In this case, he'll need bombos.
Yeah, either Bombos or Ether will be the find he wants here. Because he can beat Turtle Rock as well. It's a little bit slower. You would prefer to find Bombos, but Ether is good enough as well.
Yeah, one of the two medallions will lead him to his go mode, to him to finish his run. That is if he finds it here.
This room is not playing nice at all. Does make it through, though.
I don't think that he had any intention of playing nice at all to begin with, as Schulzer gets his Bombos medallion.
There it is. That is go mode for Schulzer. It's going to head over to Meyer, hop in, and complete what is Swamp Palace today.
Yeah, thankfully enough, he was able to get it in 1 hour and 34 minutes and 43 seconds. Like, he has to sigh a breath of relief after finding that one, as he makes his way.
Yeah, it makes him feel a lot better about that decision not to climb Ganon's Tower now.
Yes. As Catobat is now making his ped check to see what was in there. I think he already drained the dam, though.
He did already drain the dam. He may be trying to purchase something. Yeah, he's emptying bottles. He's going to buy some red potions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I kind of forgotten that the potion merchant was most likely over here, right?
I don't think it's the magic shop. I think it's just a shop.
Oh, okay. Yeah, having a potion or two right now would be a good idea, especially since you didn't pick up the bug net and fairy.
It's maybe a magic shop. He does need some magic to actually crack them. Yeah, this is the magic shop. He's going to buy green so he can get some magic to actually crack open Meyer.
You can also get a full green pot by going into the tree in Kakariko Village, but just where the warp tile is at for Dark World.
Yeah, for sure. But this is more reliable in terms of he wants the safeties as well for this last dungeon and Ganon fight being Master Sword and Silvers, and does get a chance to fill up his magic as well. Plenty of money, so not a big deal.
Yeah.
Swamp Palace is going to be a really fast dungeon as well. Don't really need to do anything other than head to the back, beat the boss.
He could look for another sword here to get tempered. We have not confirmed the fourth location of our sword yet, but I don't think at this point he's going to be doing that. He's just going to make a beeline to it and start doing his spins on Ganon the moment he finished up Swamp, as well as Aga 2.
Yeah, Schulzer's just got to hope here that it is a fast Ganon seed and not a defeat Ganon.
Oh, right. I forgot. We never did check if it was fast or.
Yeah, we can't know until we actually drop in there and Ganon tells us whether we can beat him or it gives us the bad news. You know, Catobat taking out Mothula gets crystal number 3 for him.
Catobat is checking the sick kid. I'm gonna get his little hot and ready money. And Schultz is just gonna go straight to the boss.
Yeah, if he checks any chests, it'll be the two here in the drown room and maybe in the waterfall. But I would even be surprised if he bothered to check those at this point. Runners of this caliber aren't too intimidated by a Master Sword Ganon fight. Does decide to pick him up. Does get Ether and another bean bottle. Our last bottle for the seed.
The last bottle, as well as the other medallion needed just to get into Turtle Rock. The irony of it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Finding Tempered in here would speed up both the Ganon fight and the Argus fight. Considerable deal. So very low risk in terms of checking those chests, and high reward if it does pay off. Unfortunately, nothing for him today. Here we go. Nice double spin there for Schulzer, picking up 2 puffs and spinning him with his Master Sword.
Yeah, making quick work of the puffs as he works towards stripping down the boss for this dungeon. And now I finished doing that. Now he just needs a good clean shot on. There we go.
Yeah, very nice fight from Schulzer.
And as Schulzer takes down his 6th boss, getting his 6th crystal, he's going to start making his way towards Ganon and hope that it's just a fast Ganon.
Yeah, we'll know very quickly. As soon as you drop into the Ganon fight, you'll either say, go through one of your spiels about how cheese is awesome, or Impa told him something bad, or he'll say that you haven't completed your requirements yet.
He makes a beeline towards to Magic Batcave, which has our Ganon fight in store for us.
Gets poked a bit by the red guard, which actually isn't that bad. Sword beams don't do anything here except add leg, and it is a fast Ganon seed. So here we go for Schulzer into phase 1 with these spins. 12 spins in phase 1, 12 spins in phase 2.
He also has picked up some blue potion, so if he wants to, he can use Canterbriana to be able to do some safeties there, just in case the fight gets a little too hectic for him. He is where he does only have green mail after all, and that is a
very nice phase 1. Good positioning here for phase 2. He's going to get 2 spin shots every time he turns around here. Don't think he's going to quite get the 1 cycle here. He's going to have 1 more turn here with Ganon. And there's hit number 12, so he's going to stay away now and get ready for phase 3. Smartly cracks a potion there. 1 more hit from one of those fire circle bats would take him out. And Silver's at the ready here. 1 more hit and we'll go into phase 4.
This may not be a double, but this should allow him to do the torch glitch. Oh, he just missed it.
I think he intentionally wanted to miss the torch glitch there and try and get a double, but Ganon got a little too far from him.
Yeah, which is rather unfortunate. That is okay, though. He doesn't necessarily need to do it anymore because Ganon is now down.
Yeah, get those GGs out in chat for Schulzer. Just get 1 bridge cross here from picking up the victory for Triple Dino Disaster. Real hectic, rough race, and there you go. We have our winner today. Our winner today is Schulzer.
With a time of 1 hour, 42 minutes, 41 seconds. Schulzer has taken the 2nd game between our 2 teams here. And pretty spectacular fashion there. It's pretty great work from him.
Yeah, Catobat right afterwards with the forfeit here. So Looks like we're gonna get both our runners in our in commentary here for a little post game chat. Schulzer or Catobat, thanks for joining us. Thanks for race GGs to both of you.
GG's, guys. Good work out there.
GG.
So, what were your initial thoughts on the scene on the first half of that run?
A lot of fun.
I don't know how I made it through it without dying. I have no idea. It was so close, like 10 times.
Yeah, that escape was really intense with a couple absurd rooms, the double Lionel room, and then a bunch of red guards charging at you once you were trying to get that last key.
Yeah, I honestly thought I die there, but somehow if you just stand there and go in and out, just charge the spin again and again, you can kill them.
Yeah, it's also worth mentioning that y'all did all of that while wearing green mail. That had to be like the toughest experience to go through.
And not finding any more good items like swords or main upgrades was like the whole seed.
Yeah,
I guess it was due to beatable settings, because you could know that after looking to TT or Maya, because the key logic was basically telling you that the seed must be a fast Ganon, and that Maya was the 7th skill, so that you don't need to beat Ganon, which was really nice to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this seed was not giving either of you a lot to go on in terms of equipment for combat. Stuck with just a regular bow and a fighter sword for most of the seed. I don't know how much Enemizer either of you play. Look to be a very tough seed for you.
Yeah, I think I made a pretty good job. I died like nowhere in dungeons, but once or twice. But the overworld was kind of tough sometimes with the Lionels all around the world. They got me good.
Yeah, it felt like every other part of the overworld had like a Lionel in it ready to clip y'all at one point. Do any of you two have any closing statements for the seed?
Anson Shuffle without keys is bad. I want my keys.
And you, Catobat?
I was a bit. I screwed some things up with the entrance shuffle. First of all, I'm not really an entrance player, and I've never played simple or restricted, I don't think. And I did not know that the connectors were always vanilla. I thought it was like in restricted. Yeah.
Okay. But you did a pretty good work out there to be able to, at the very least, get up to 3 or 4 crystals for this run, at least.
Well, I'm glad I didn't die in GT. I wasn't even paying attention that it was not even in logic. With the keys.
Yeah, there was one thing about it. Like, we did not by the time we was climbing up GT, we have yet to find any other medallions. So we was hoping for one of the medallions to be up there for your gamble to pay off on that one.
Sadly, that could not happen. I knew that there wasn't a medallion up there, so I remember that the GTP key was nowhere in logic at any point, so I knew that I don't need to climb. Because there were 9 items up there. I guess there was another sword.
Yeah, there was one sword up there, nothing else.
Yeah. I haven't played much beatable seeds, but I guess that they are putting like the nice items not even in logic. So, because Silver's burned in the beatable settings as well.
Mm-hmm.
Also legible logic wise.
Yeah, in beatable settings, you're only going to have the Master Sword guaranteed to be in logic. So, like you said, with the key layout in GT, it wasn't upstairs was not a thing you could do. But yeah, this was a really good run from both of you. Tough time for you, Catobat, in some of the rural areas. I know you got picked off heading over to the ice rod area just before you found those boots, and didn't get back there for a good half hour or so, which was unfortunate. But
Yeah.
Well, I do not have any other questions to add on to this. Do you, by any chance?
no, I just wanted to say thanks you to Schulzer and Catobat for the race. GG's to you both. Great effort today. And congratulations on the victory, Schulzer. I also want to give a big shout out to our restreamer and our tracker, Saphir, on the tracking for us, making sure that we can talk about this seed and not have to look at everything that was grabbed all the time. And Amaranth for bringing this content to you on the ALTTPR League channel. So thank you to you both.
And don't forget to follow my co-commentator and myself here for commentating on this stream. It's been a pleasure working with y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. And if that is not enough mystery for you, we got some more today. We have just started about 20 minutes ago on the LTTPR League 3. We've got an open mode race or open league race between Death King 2 and Killer App 23. And in the invitation, we have 2 races that just started. On Speed Gaming 6, Dracaris for Never Do Chickens and Goomba, the last locationers, are facing off. And on Speed Gaming 2, Kyong from Komodo Hypers is taking on Hitsion from We Are the Imposters. And those races all just started about 25 minutes ago. So if you want more action today, you can get on any of those, take a look. And looks like we also have a race. If you want to stay right here, we got more rando action as Tabbycat 54 from Hyrule Track and Field takes on Don Veneur from Boomer Friendly in the Open League. So all across the Speed Gaming and the LTTPR League channels, you got lots of mystery seeds today.
That is right. That just about does it for this race in particular. So if you want to stay in for more mystery action, do stay tuned to this channel or the other respective channels for more mystery racing mayhem for a Link to the Past Randomizer League Week 5. This has been your commentators, Esper Hub and James FNX. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.